So how much of someone's success is determined by their natural biological disposition? And then how can, like, directly applicable things can they do to improve those chances? If someone's listening right now and they've failed over and over and over again, or they've just lived a life where they feel like hasn't amounted to much or what they would have liked it to amount to, what direct things can they do in their life to increase their likelihood of success?
I don't think anyone is destined for failure based on birth. Like, obviously, we are all born with a different set of, different hand, if you will. Like, some people can be born on the streets of India, and you're like, obviously, you have the deck stacked against you. You have to like rise up a whole lot more. But I generally think in the world that we live in now, with access to the internet being what it is, anyone that is high agency, that is willing to go out and do things, can go and live a like baseline good life. I don't think it's fair to say that anyone can go from, no matter what, where they're born, to being like a mega billionaire. I think it'd probably be very difficult for certain people, but you can go live a good life. I think anyone. What would I do? Honestly, I think that if you take any job, like if you're going to go just take your first job, whether that's like working at Starbucks or cleaning bathrooms at Starbucks, whatever that thing is, I think if you show an above average willingness to just go above and beyond what is expected of you in that job, you just like go figure things out and go and deliver value, you will get more and more opportunity over periods of time. The problem for most people is the second they don't feel that they are getting that, some people jump off the tracks. So like if you think about your life as like this chart of sort of the value you're creating and then the value you receive, there are going to be times when you're like doing a whole lot. You're working crazy hard. You're doing all these things and it's not being rewarded right in that moment. It's not being rewarded. It's called the heavens reward fallacy. Like, we think that all of our efforts should be justly rewarded, but that's not the case. Sometimes you have a boss that sucks. Sometimes you're in a work situation that sucks. But over the long run, those blips even out. It's kind of like in the stock market, it's efficient in the long run, but not in the short run. Like, there might be a company that's massively undervalued now, then there's that same company is going to be overvalued at some point. But in the long run, price and value should align. It's the same thing for your life. Like, the price you are paid for the work that you do and what you can create is going to, in the long run, align with the value that you go and create for people. And so I would just spend all of my time thinking about how can I be valuable in whatever context that I'm currently in. Like, and it doesn't need to be dramatic. Like whatever context you are currently in, just think about the problems that the people around you have and how you can figure out some slight way to solve those problems. And that applies to any context. It doesn't matter what that job is.
What do you think about living very frugally throughout your 20s?
I think it's a great idea to live frugally first so that you can live wonderfully, lavishly later. I mean, just logistically, if you're thinking about making money and financial independence, the greatest asset you have in your journey to financial independence is the gap that you can create between your cash inflows and your cash outflows, right? It's like the money you're making versus the money you're spending. There's a gap there, hopefully a positive gap. And that's the gap that you can invest into things that are going to compound. And if compounding is like the engine of financial independence, then that gap is your greatest asset because that's what's going to fuel that engine. That's like the coal that you're going to be, throwing into the steam engine or whatever you want to call it. And living frugally, meaning like not allowing your expenses to grow as fast as your income hopefully grows, is how that gap grows that you can then be investing more and more into something that's compounding long term. For me, the fact that I saved money and compounded in the like time period from my 23 when I started working until 28 was how I bought, $1.5 million house when I was 27 or whatever. Like I didn't just like make an astronomical amount of money in cash. I had wealth that was building from like the carried interest, but that I wasn't seeing that. It wasn't cash that I was getting. It was all just that neither one of my wife or I are big spenders. Like we don't buy jewelry. Like we like experiences. So we go on vacations, but we're not like fancy car people really. And as a result, we had a gap and we were investing that gap and stacking it, and small things become big things. Like it just works.